Tell me if this sounds like you. You want to add video to your podcast setup, but you don't want to invest in crazy camera setups and add hours of extra time editing. And you don't want to spend even more time tweaking bit rates and other settings just to pull off a high quality video recording. You just want something simple. If that's the case, look no further than Riverside.fm. Riverside offers the flexibility to record both audio and video podcasts. So even if you just plan on recording audio-only episodes, that's okay because the platform has you covered. Getting started in Riverside is fairly straightforward. Once you sign up and pick your plan, you're going to want to create a new studio for your podcast. First up, we're going to come up to the upper left-hand corner and click on the New Studio button to create a studio. We're going to name our studio. I'll just call this one Test Studio 2 because I already have one called Test Studio. And then we have a couple options. So we can actually choose whether or not we even want to record our high quality video with our podcast. So if you're just doing audio only and you just want the audio itself, you can tick this little box here and you'll be able to just record the audio only, not the video. We also have some options for our transcription. We can choose the language that we're going to be using for our transcript, and then we can schedule dates for our recording right from this box here, which is really handy. Now I'm going to hit create. And now we have our studio. Let's jump into recording a new episode. Riverside gives you a few different options. We can click on the Go to Studio button to record right now, or we can plan our recording for a future date. This is really handy if you want to schedule out your recordings over time with several guests, say for the entire season of a podcast. We also have the option to upload a recording that was recorded outside of Riverside to use with their AI tools, but more on that later. When we enter the studio, we first must choose our camera and microphone. We also must tell Riverside whether or not we're using headphones, as this will automatically enable or disable echo cancellation. Once inside the studio, we have several options and controls. First of all, right here at the bottom, you have your different controls for your recording. We can either start and stop the recording. We can even run a test recording in this session, which is a handy thing to do. We also have controls for our microphone and camera, as well as our speakers. And we even have options for some extra things like a script and a teleprompter that can be added onto your recording. You also have the option to share your screen or a presentation, which is pretty nice. And of course, you have the button to leave the studio itself. Now, outside of these controls, you also have some controls over how your camera sources are actually coming in. And if we go up to the right-hand corner here, we see this people tab. We have some options here for just naming the people that are in our session. Okay. We also have the option to invite people to this session by just clicking that and then choosing either to share a link or send an email. We also have the option for noise reduction on our audio right inside the recording, which is pretty handy. There are also some additional options here for our camera quality, whether we want echo cancellation turned on, and also just the same sort of settings that you saw here on the bottom for our camera and audio settings. Now, outside of the normal recording settings, we have a few quality of life settings there in the bottom right-hand corner here. We look at these, we have first our people tab, which we just looked at, which allows you to choose the settings for each individual person within your recording. But we also have a chat that you can do inside the actual studio. So this is neat if you have a comment or question you want to ask your co-host or guest while you're recording, but don't want to stop the actual flow of the conversation. Just type it in the chat and they'll get it privately without ruining the recording itself. One really neat feature that I thought was great, especially if you're doing something where you want to do a lot of live recording, is the little media tab right here. So if you click this, you get your media playlist. And this is neat because you not only have some sound effects that are just included inside of Riverside.fm, but you can upload media itself. So if you have certain sound effects, you can add those in, and you also have the option to add in different video elements. So if you have, say, an opening graphic or an opening video bumper that you want to throw in your actual edit, you can do it in the actual studio. And these things are also saved as separate tracks within your edit, which is really handy for re-editing these things after the fact. It's a really cool feature. Clicking on the gear will bring up even more settings for your recordings, your show's branding, and even the ability to add in live streaming destinations. Back inside the studio, we can see our recording being processed. Once it's finished, we can head inside the recording and see our files as well as explore our options for editing. Inside the recording, we can view a playback of our recorded episode. And if we actually scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can even see our isolated video and audio files. And the best part is, some of those were recorded at 4K quality. Now, all of these individual files could be downloaded by themselves. You can even export them as an XML sequence from within Riverside, which is great if you're using something like Premiere Pro or Final Cut. But there are some benefits to editing natively in the app. Let's click on the Edit button and choose Create New Edit. Inside the edit window, we have our timeline as well as a copy of the episode transcript. We have a couple different options for editing. We can either choose to edit this thing traditionally by using the split button and cutting out sections of our recording and hitting delete, or we can edit via transcript by selecting portions within our transcript and hitting delete that way, which will automatically make those cuts within our edit. On the right-hand side, we can even change our episode layout so that it can dynamically adjust to who in the episode is actually talking. We can also add in extra features like a custom background, show branding, captions, and much more. Exporting your finished podcast is simple. Just click on the export button, and here you can export your audio only and video podcast individually. There are even options to remove background noise and normalize audio levels. Now, one of the features that I love about Riverside is the ability to take a long-form episode and condense it down into multiple short-form clips. While you can manually edit these, let's see if the AI can take care of it. The Magic Clips option will use your recording transcript and pull in the best bits from the episode into pre-edited social clips. You can always go in and manually tweak your edits, but this is a major time saver. Aside from creating high-quality video podcasts and social clips, Riverside can also assist with creating episode show notes, all with the help of AI. If we click on the Generate Show Notes button, Riverside's AI will look at our episode transcript and generate summaries, show notes, and chapters. I gotta tell you, as someone who has just started adding video to my podcast workflow, I am impressed by the tools that Riverside provides. I really do feel that sometimes the technical side of video can get in the way of creators telling their stories and sharing their message with the world. And a tool set like Riverside.fm is simple enough that anyone can jump in and immediately start creating a video podcast with very little stress. Thanks for watching. And if you're looking to learn more about podcasting, maybe how to edit that video podcast inside of Premiere Pro lightning fast, do me a favor and check out this video.